Yo everybody, what's up guys? I'm the Flamehead97 and welcome back to my channel. Here today, I'm here for a video game review for y'all, and it's going to be for AEW Fight Forever. I recently got this game last week at Walmart, and I've been playing the game quite a bit since then. You guys probably even saw me playing it live a few times or so on my gaming channel, the Flamehead97 Gaming. For those that don't know about that channel, I have a gaming channel called the Flamehead97 Gaming, so if you guys want to subscribe to that channel, then feel free to do so. But yeah, here for the review for AEW Fight Forever. Let's go and get started with it, guys. So what do I think of AEW Fight Forever? I think it's a really good game. I have some good things to say and I have some bad things to say, so we'll go ahead and get started with the bad things and then we'll go on to the good things. So my first complaint with AEW Fight Forever is the controls. I did not like the controls because you gotta press multiple buttons sometimes just to do a finisher. Like if you want to do like Adam Cole's the Panama Sunrise, you gotta like fucking run towards the top turnbuckle and press like the arrow stick and then the right stick or whatever. It's just complicated, man, at first. For real, it's complicated to do certain finishers on AEW Fight Forever. Like, I had a hard time learning how to do Adam Cole's Panama Sunrise. I had to go on YouTube just to learn how to do it because it was difficult. I still have a hard time doing it in Adam Cole matches, but yeah, it's a good finisher. It's just hard to land it, you know. So yeah, one thing I didn't like about this game was the controls. Hard to do finishers at some points, depending on who your character is, you know. But yeah, some finishers are hard to do, especially the curb stomp or the stomp from Britt Baker. Can't never do her finisher. I'm not sure why. I just can't do it. I mean, I know how to get my opponent face down, but I can't have them face down long enough for know which button to fucking press to do her finisher. But it is what it is. But yeah, these are one complaint that I have with the game. Controls / finishers. They're hard to do at times. So yeah, another thing I didn't like about AEW Fight Forever was the lack of the roster. The roster was pretty short on this game, but I still think it's a good roster, but it doesn't really have all that much characters on it. I'm not sure how many characters are on it, but it's a small select. But either way, I can't complain that much about the roster, but I do wish it was a bigger roster because the smaller roster that we have with the game, it can get boring after a while playing as the same wrestler and fighting the same wrestlers. You know, that can get boring after a certain amount of time. The game itself isn't boring, but playing as the same wrestler and fighting the same wrestlers and all that can be boring after a certain amount of time, if you guys know what I mean here. So another thing I like about AEW Fight Forever was the lack of commentary from the commentators like Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Taz, or whoever they would have had as commentators on that game. They don't have them on the game. I mean, sure, they might introduce them before a match, but they don't have them actually saying anything during the matches. And I think that would have been cool to hear JR's thoughts on these matches and the other commentators that they would have had on the game. But instead of commentary from the commentators, they replaced it with music during the matches, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the music can get repetitive after a while, so I'd rather have the commentators, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's another thing I didn't like, the lack of commentary from the commentators. So yeah, is there really anything else that I didn't like? Oh yeah, another thing I didn't like about AEW Fight Forever was that the weapons you get, they disappear after like 2 hits with it. Like, if you want to use a guitar, you'll only be able to use it twice. If you want to use baseball bat, you'll only be able to use it twice. You guys get the idea now, I hope, on that part. But other than that, though, I don't really have much complaint with the weapons, but I don't like how you use them a couple of times and they're automatically gone until you can get it from underneath the ring or the crowd again. So yeah, another thing that I probably didn't like is sometimes the springboards can be difficult. You know, you gotta be a certain way near the ropes just to do fucking springboards and shit, where they're doing it in the ring or outside the ring. So yeah, that's another complaint I had about AEW Fight Forever. But now, let's get on to the good and positive stuff I have about AEW Fight Forever. So, one positive I like about AEW Fight Forever is the soundtrack. Like I was saying earlier, yes, the soundtrack can be repetitive, especially during the matches. But overall, I think the in-game soundtrack of AEW Fight Forever was really good. You had songs from Platinum Max, who is also known as Max Caster in AEW. So you had 3 songs from him on the game, and I actually didn't know he was an actual rapper. I just thought that was a gimmick that AEW came up for Max. But actually, it's not just a gimmick, it's a real thing. He's an actual rapper as well, so it's pretty dope. So you have 3 songs on there from him. It's some other music artists that I'm not too familiar with, but those songs are cool. I did like the AEW Dynamite theme song that you get during the loading screen of AEW Fight Forever. That was a really good song as well. So yeah, soundtrack for AEW Fight Forever is really good. So no complaints with that. Dope soundtrack. One of the best wrestling game soundtracks that I've heard in many years, if I'm being honest. Dating back to like days of like SmackDown vs. Raw 2010, SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and all that good stuff. So yeah, one of the best in-game soundtracks in quite some time. So yeah, good soundtrack for AEW Fight Forever. I really like the soundtrack for it. So another thing I do like about AEW Fight Forever is that you get a lot of weapons in the game. Minus them disappearing after 2 hits, they have a lot of good weapons that you can get. You can get weapons from the crowd or the ring. Either way, it's cool, you know. So yeah, and I'm definitely glad that they did bring back that you can get weapons from the crowd, because in newer WWE games you can't even get that shit. Like, you can't get weapons from the crowd on 2K22 or 2K23 or any of those games since then, you know. It's been forever since we've gotten any weapons we can get from a crowd in a wrestling game, and I like that they brought that shit back in AEW Fight Forever, because we needed weapons we can get from the crowd and shit. So yeah, it's dope. Like a lot of weapons that you can get from the crowd underneath the ring, and it's just fun. So yeah, the other thing I liked about AEW Fight Forever was the blood. The blood is really good. The blood actually looks more realistic on AEW Fight Forever than any wrestling game that I've ever played, including the WWE stuff. But yeah, AEW Fight Forever definitely has a lot of blood, and it actually looks more realistic when your opponent bleeds and when you bleed. It just drips all over the ring, and it looks actual badass, for real. Like, if you're doing like a lights out match and you get the thumbtacks from underneath the ring and you drip them all over the ring and you slam your opponent somehow onto the thumbtacks, it'll start bleeding, and it actually looks badass. It looks realistic. So yeah, the thumbtacks are really cool to have as well in the game as a weapon selection choice. The guitar was dope. Even they brought back the championships that you can use in matches, so that's pretty dope as well. So yeah, definitely a good selection of weapons to choose from. Another thing I did like is the graphics of AEW Fight Forever. The graphics were really good. So yeah, the graphics on this game were dope. I really did like the graphics. They look really good. Probably some of the best graphics I've seen in a wrestling game in quite some time, you know. So yeah, AEW Fight Forever, the graphics were great. So another thing I liked about AEW Fight Forever is it's just a fun game overall. You could play this game for, I don't know how long, probably like 2 or 3 hours and not be bored of it. I mean, yes, you do have a smaller roster, but it is what it is, you know. So yeah, it's a fun game overall. Getting a lot of good weapons. You got a great soundtrack. You can even fucking break the LED board up by the entrance and all that, you know. So yeah, you can do a lot of good stuff in AEW Fight Forever that you can't do in WWE games. So yeah, AEW Fight Forever, definitely a really good game. And I would go on to say this. It might be a controversial opinion, but I think this is the best wrestling game, at least since SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 or SmackDown vs. Raw 2010. I think this is the best wrestling game since then, if I'm being really honest with you guys. That's how much I enjoyed AEW Fight Forever overall, despite the ups and downs I have with the game. So yeah, guys, AEW Fight Forever, definitely recommend the game. Very fun. So yeah, guys, if I left out anything, then I'll be sure to let you guys know, maybe in the comment section of the review or something, because sometimes I do tend to forget things in video game reviews and that. But it's a good game overall. You'll have a lot of fun playing it. I would definitely recommend playing it live, because it can be fun playing it live, you know. Just let the world know how good you are at the game. Yeah, there's some tricks with the game that can be tricky, but it's still overall worth it. So yeah, guys, I'm very satisfied with this game. I just wish there was more of a roster. Another thing I needed to point out before I ended the review was that you don't really get many match choices, whether it be one-on-one matches, 2-on-2, 3-way, or 4-way. You don't really get many match types with this game, which was another negative I forgot to bring up. But either way, it's not much of an issue. Hopefully with the next AEW game, they'll put more characters in the game and more match types. But either way, I still like the game. It's good, despite that. So yeah, guys, this is my AEW Fight Forever review. But before I wrap it up and end it, I'm going to go ahead and rate this game. I give AEW Fight Forever a 9 out of a 10. Not a 10, because there's some negatives, but 9 out of a 10. I think that's a good score for AEW Fight Forever. Let me know what y'all think of this game and all that good shit, and I'll see y'all next time. I'm the Flamehead 97. God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.